Here's a reality check you might not be eager to face, but it's crucial. You struggle with managing your emotions. It doesn't matter how many self-help books you've read, how many inspirational quotes you've stored on your phone, or how much you tout your emotional intelligence. When you're ignored, it feels like a personal assault. When faced with opposition, it hurts. And when situations unfold not as planned, your mind begins to spin a web of stories steeped in fear, ego, and unresolved past traumas that you weren't even aware still affected you. Have you ever noticed this? Probably not. Most of us haven't, because we've become accustomed to living in a dulled state, responding mechanically to any emotional triggers that arise from our past experiences. But let's establish something important from the outset. What you're feeling may not be an accurate reflection of reality. Your emotions are often distorted reflections, influenced by your fears, beliefs, and traumas. And the worst part? These aren't even uniquely yours. They are inherited, absorbed unconsciously since childhood. You react with anger when overlooked because you once felt invisible. You become paralyzed when criticized because a voice from your past asserted that you only deserved love if you were flawless. Do you understand? Your reactions are not about the present. They're echoes of the past, replaying continuously. The real nightmare is that you're unaware of this cycle. You believe these reactions define you, but they don't. They're simply the result of past programming. This realization should alarm you, because as long as you remain ignorant of it, you're ensnared. Each interaction triggers an internal mechanism over which you have no control. Your mind convinces you that your feelings are justified, that it's normal to feel hurt or angry. Yet, it fails to inform you that these emotions are repetitive, that you have experienced them before and will continue to do so unless you intervene. Here's the truth. The enemy isn't external. It never was. The real adversary is your automatic emotional response, the unseen split second between a trigger and your reaction. A moment when you could choose differently, but often don't, simply because you're not aware of it. Until you learn to recognize this moment, your life will be a series of repeated patterns disguised as new experiences. You'll continue making the same mistakes, encountering similar conflicts, and suffering the same frustrations. And you'll wonder why, blaming the world for being unfair, for people disappointing you, for life not meeting your expectations. Rarely, if ever, will you consider that the issue might lie within you. This isn't about self-blame, it's about awakening, about confronting your inner truth with the harsh honesty of someone tired of living in a fog. Why is controlling your emotions so challenging? Because you were never taught to simply observe them. You were raised in a society that values immediate reaction over reflective thought. You were led to believe that to feel is to be weak, or conversely, that your feelings are the unequivocal truth. But feeling is not understanding. You might feel hated when others are merely projecting their insecurities. You might feel like a failure when you're actually learning. You might feel insignificant when you're merely in a period of stasis. But if you never question your emotions, you remain their prisoner. And to be enslaved by your emotions is to lack true freedom. Have you ever considered this perspective? Probably not, because it's uncomfortable. It involves embracing a responsibility that many shy away from, the responsibility to master oneself. But here's the intriguing, unsettling possibility. What if you could rewire your responses? What if there was a method to break this cycle, to catch that crucial moment before you react impulsively and turn it into an opportunity for choice and change? What if that moment of pause was your escape from chaos? This isn't about quick fixes or miraculous cures. It's about something real and potent. The recognition that the brief silence between impulse and action is where your freedom begins. It's where you regain control. And yes, this process is neither easy nor quick, but it is achievable. Neuroscience supports it, psychology studies it, and countless individuals have lived it. It's not a fleeting trend or spiritual fad, it's a discipline, a lifelong practice. And it starts with a difficult question. How long will you continue reacting without truly understanding yourself? Because every unexamined reaction is an unconscious decision that shapes your life, your relationships, your health, your decisions, your peace of mind. But here's something seldom discussed. Those reactions aren't inherently yours. They weren't part of you at birth. You learned them, which means you can unlearn them. You can rebuild yourself, retrain your mind to avoid falling into the same traps repeatedly. This requires courage, not to confront others, but to face yourself honestly, to identify your patterns, your wounds, your deeply buried emotions, because right there, in the places you least want to explore, lies the key. Your emotional triggers aren't the issue. The problem is your lack of understanding of them, their origins, their meanings, why they control you. As long as you avoid confronting them directly, they will continue to govern your life like unseen puppeteers. You can change your environment, your partners, your job, but the feelings will remain the same, because the issue isn't external, it's internal. So, what will you do with this truth? Will you continue to justify your reactions, or will you start observing them? Will you persist in telling yourself that this is just who you are, or will you question who you might become without these automatic responses? True transformation doesn't come from positive affirmations or catchy slogans. It comes from awareness, from practice, from facing discomfort, from choosing to pause and be present even when every fiber of your being urges you to flee. This path isn't glamorous or easy, but it is authentic. And if you choose to follow it, what you'll discover at the end is something profound. Emotional stability, not as a superficial calm, but as a deep, unshakable inner peace that no external force can disturb without your consent. This level of emotional mastery isn't inherited or bought, it's developed, and you can achieve it. But first, you must accept a harsh reality. The chaos in your life isn't caused by external factors. It's generated by your unexamined reactions, by letting yourself be swept away by emotions you haven't yet challenged. Until you undertake this inner work, you'll continue to encounter the same conflicts under different guises, fleeing the same fears in new masks, enduring suffering under the false belief that the world is against you, when in reality, you're simply at war with yourself. So, will you continue to flee from your true self, or will you finally confront your inner world? Will you remain a puppet of your emotions, or will you become their master? Time is ticking, and with every unexamined reaction, you move further from your potential self. But with every conscious pause, every moment of introspection, every choice to respond rather than react, you grow, you transform. The rest is merely background noise. Now that you've glimpsed the reality of your automatic responses, that you've begun to suspect your freedom might be an illusion, let's delve deeper. Let's discuss something few have the courage to confront. Your inner narrative. That voice that speaks to you when no one else is listening. The one that criticizes every action, that undermines you, that dredges up your past failures, and rarely, if ever, encourages you with kindness. Ever wondered where that voice comes from? It's not entirely your own. It was shaped by the words of your parents, your teachers, your early disappointments, rejections, and comparisons, those minor humiliations forgotten by others but etched in your memory. That voice that insists you're inadequate, that vulnerability will lead to destruction, that without a quick reaction you'll appear foolish. This voice has misled you, guided not by wisdom but by fear. As long as this voice governs your thoughts, your emotions will remain trapped in a perpetual childhood. When you feel shame, it's not just about the present moment, but echoes of an incident from decades ago that your mind can't let go of. Shame itself isn't the problem. The issue is how your internal narrative amplifies and distorts it, making it part of your identity. I'm a failure. I'm not good at this. This always happens to me. Does that sound familiar? This internal dialogue is addictive. It traps you in a cycle. Part of you, the most wounded part, finds comfort in this familiar pain, accustomed to the emotional turmoil. Any break from this pattern feels strange, unsettling. But what if you could rewrite this narrative? What if you could seize control of that voice inside your head and transform it into something that champions rather than chastises you? This isn't about masking your emotions or putting on a brave face. It's about cultivating an inner strength so profound that no external event can shake it without your explicit consent. It's about training your mind to be resilient against the ghosts of your past. This kind of peace, this level of self-mastery, can't be purchased or inherited. It must be developed through hard work, through facing truths most would rather ignore. So, what will you choose? Will you continue to run from yourself, or will you confront the realities within? Will you remain a slave to your emotions, or will you take charge and become their master? Because the clock is ticking, and every moment spent in unconscious reaction distances you further from who you could truly become. But every conscious pause, every instance of self-reflection, every decision to act rather than react, draws you closer to that potential. It shapes you, transforms you. Everything else is just noise.